Okay, and we should be live now. So, here's the tank head so far. I believe last stream was armouring up all the legs. Well, certainly the lower legs at least. Upper legs? Got the thigh armour connecting to like the front panels. Hello! Yeah, ready to stream some more work on the tank head. Since the last stream, I've been working a lot on the chest, especially this whole back section. Hey, I'm doing alright. Hope everyone watching is doing good too. Let's... Yeah. There's the chest and all the mechanical details I wanted to put in the neck area. Got some abdomen armour too, and got it all magnetized as well. So that is the chest so far. And then today, I wanted to make a start on the arms. Because currently they are just the kind of skeleton for it, and even just held together with blue tack. So I also need to, I don't know, magnetize them too. So let's see what they are so far. Because it's been a while since I put this together. I think it's been almost a month now, probably. So I started this build late August. So, yeah, spent a lot of time on this so far, and it's, I don't know, maybe a little over halfway. Got the arms and the head left to really detail out. And then after that there's a few passes of riveting everything, adding green sapphire to everything, and of course all the painting. I also need to figure out a base for it at some point too. Okay, so got the hand, forearm, elbow, upper arm. Gonna need to add the kind of shoulder panels out of plasticard. Let's see. Yeah, still have the image here, and you can see the kind of outward facing shoulder panels. I'm going to see if I can reuse some of the tank sponson pieces, the little gun ports that stick out of the sides. But I imagine a lot of this will be plasticard. I'm going to need to make some plasticard for the whole forearm side too. Probably going to be similar to the forearm armour of this, my old TANKHEAD. But hopefully I can detail it a bit better, especially since it's larger. Do I have any advice on making assembly sprues? Scratch builds. So you're working on a Rhino tank made entirely out of sprues. Ooh, sprues are good for like structural framework, but making entirely out of them, it would be... I would recommend using plasticard for a lot of the armor paneling, just because you need... Rhino is a lot of big flat surfaces, and it'll be a lot of work to make them out of sprues, because you'll be spending ages like lining them up side by side, gluing them together, and then sanding them flat. So my advice would be to work into plasticard, since it's also, I don't know, cheap and a kind of raw scratch build material similar to sprues, but it'll be tricky to make, you know, the big flat surfaces entirely out of sprues. So you would need a lot. You need to glue them side by side a lot, and then sand them down to get a nice flat surface if you were to just use sprues entirely. And always try to work in any spare bits you have. Like, I'm sure there's bound to be lots of, well, depending on how much of an army you've collected already, you're bound to have some spare bits, and they're always good to detail with. So try to work in that stuff too. Tricky bit might be the angular corners of the Rhino, like where it's sloped at the front. So I've seen people use like 1, 2, 3 blocks and engineer squares to get stuff at the correct angles, but using the sprue bits themselves might help, because you can see they've kind of got built-in angles, like slight upwards and downwards. I use those to build some stuff. Like, you can see I use the sprue in the corner here to get this kind of slight outward angle to that armor piece, so you can use the sprue's built-in angles to help a lot. But yeah, that's some tips that should hopefully be helpful. And thank you for the videos, they're really helpful with giving the eye for what to look for to get a kit bash. Yeah, I'm glad I can help. I tried to cover it. I don't know. I tried to mention what you can do to get started with them too. My stuff gets very complicated at a certain point, so like this TANKHEAD probably won't be that good for a beginner kit bash build. But I tried to like single out tips that would be useful to get you started, like plasticard armor. That's always a good thing to add in to start working in small bits to work your way up to being confident to use it in bigger and bigger builds. Okay. One of the first things I wanted to do is magnetize the shoulder and the upper arm, just because then I can start gluing stuff together without having to worry about disassembling it all. And I need to try and remember correctly how I magnetized these before. So I'm just going to grab my old Knight to look at it for reference. So this is my old knight. I believe I magnetized it at the hips. And then also the upper arms. Okay. See, it doesn't feel like the sturdiest of connections, so I might go up size with these. What size are they? I think they're just about 5mm wide magnets. Oh yeah. Speaking of this dude, I was thinking about putting a short-ish video together on how I converted him, because this is more of a simpler knight build, and it is a relatively simple trick to make it upright. I just need to dust him a tad. Yeah, that could make for a nice short video to go up, since I have had people asking about it, and it's something to go up while I'm in the middle of this big tank head. And putting them side by side really shows he is quite a bit bigger, even though it's using the same base kit. Though the extra leg segments probably helps. Okay. Used green stuff to fill in that space. Where are my magnets? Just get back into modelling, have a Redempted Dreadnought with minimal kit bashing. Yeah, that's a good place to start. Like, just fancying up models where you can. Like, I got a Redempted Dreadnought, which was one of my earlier builds, which, same as you said, just decorating up a bit better. Nothing too fancy, but always helps to start small. And then, you know, a year or two after that, I did my Titanfall Legion style Dreadnought. Yeah, the belly plate on this, it was because uprighting it left a huge space in the centre, and it was kind of tricky to find any armour plates that were big enough. If I were to do this again, I would try to find another style of armour to go in there instead. Like maybe with the new, what are they? Castigator class? Knights. Thanks. Yeah, I love making my conversions, and I'm glad other people appreciate them too. Okay, so what can I fit in here? Okay, so those fit alright. What about the even bigger and stronger magnets? because these are going to be some bulky-ish forearms, so a strong magnet would help. Okay, that looks good. Just need to see if it fit, how flush it fits within there. Yeah, the different type of belly plate going for the laminated armor style of overlapping plates. Yeah, because that is something I tried to do for the tank head. You can see, like, there's a very bright white plastic card, so it doesn't show up well, but I tried to do like a segmented plate there. And here's a other piece which I tested to fit, which I tested making, but it didn't quite fit. Okay, and then for the corresponding magnet in the upper arm, let me keep one of my other knight parts out, just so I can use that to check the polarity. Okay, that works. And then now it's time to start cutting away stuff. Because normally this is, I don't know, it's got a kind of lip which is supposed to fit inside the upper arm, but I need to remove it if we're magnetizing it. And just smooth over the cut a little. Okay, that's good. Need to trim that back a little. Yeah, I'm still pretty... This older knight did turn out good despite the problems sourcing the bits. It was a very early kitbash build of mine, but I learnt a lot from it. Like, this is the first one I started dry brushing metals on, and also started picking out details with the Balthazar Gold as a copper with. And it is another build based on an Emerson Tongue mech design. This one is based on his Steam Knight Lancelot, and my new TANKHEAD is based on his, I don't know, TANKHEAD Panther. Oh, I got the book to hand for reference. Based on this one, the new design is. Just vibing while you're doing your... Oh, welcome. Yeah, always nice to have some... just chill hobby stuff going on. What are you building? Offer an idea. A lot of my content seems to use 40k model bits. Be interested to see what I could do with Tamiya kit. What do you mean, like Tamiya historical based stuff? I wonder... That is something. I do tend to stick to 40k stuff a lot. But I do know Tamiya does have a lot of good stuff. I use a lot of their building stuff, like I always use Tamiya cement and whatnot, but historicals might make for a better base for some TANKHEAD stuff. Like I know Muggins was considering doing a like Bismarck TANKHEAD using the, I think, Tamiya Bismarck model. I don't know, I haven't really used historical stuff before, so it would be a whole different world. I wouldn't rule out the possibility, but I haven't got any plans for it. M41 Walker Bulldog or M42 Chaff? It would be a good... well, would obviously be a good source for tank bits for different TANKHEADs. But, I don't know, it's... I like going from a non-realistic base to... Because... This is just always a big excuse for me to build robots. And what 40k always makes for a good, I don't know, starting point because they have robot kits. It's something worth considering, but I can't make any promises. Okay, I need to put a magnet in here now. So let's see if I can drill a hole for one in. Though to me, historical models make for a good might make for a good like source of bits for a jet head, because I do want to build a jet head, but there aren't really many 40k kits I could go for. So I might look into it for those parts and that and smashing it together with an armature or something. Other than I need to stop worrying more about the scale, because some things that keep it simple with Warhammer is it's all on the same scale. But, well, unless you grab Titanicus bits. But, yeah, I need to find how they scale up then. What other size magnets have I got for that I can put in the upper arms? Just slowly working my way up the drill bit sizes, because if you jump straight to larger ones you spend ages drilling out, and it can even like tear up the plastic if you jump straight to like 3mm drill bits. What size magnet could go in the forearms? These are obviously too big. I think those... Maybe. Okay, that'll work. Oh boy. The fight for desk space. Oh yeah, always worth looking for alternative kit sources with 40k prices being the way they are. But no, thanks for the recommendation. As mentioned, I do want to make a jet head, but I'm not sure there's even a 40k kit that could be used for that, so we'll definitely look into that. For that one at least. I'm not sure how far in the future that TANKHEAD build would be. So I always like to vary it up. Like after I've done this TANKHEAD build, I might not do another one for a while. I've got some other stuff I want to make. I've got some terrain pieces, terrain kits come in I want to try to do something with. I want to go back to my Black Templars at some point. Got some ideas to fill out the rest of my AdMech army too. Okay, so that's a 3mm hole drilled in, and it looks to be a bit wider, so my biggest drill bit only goes up to 3mm, and these magnets I want to use look to be like 4 or 5. So I've got to start using my knife to carve out the rest. Yeah, Dakajet, I would... Yeah, the Dakajet is the only thing that comes to mind for 40k jets, and I don't know, it's a bit too orky. I feel like I'd spend longer de-orking the kit than I would like building with it. How big is that compared to this? Okay, that's a bit too wide. Okay, getting a tad messy now. Yeah, the Imperial Guard Thunderbolt, but that is expensive and resin, which normally removes it from my list just because, as you can see here, I'm doing a lot of drilling and cutting and modifying parts, and that's a big no-no with resin unless you get a whole good enough respirator. So that generally means it's, you know, too much of a hassle with resin. Yeah, and resin kits are always crazy expensive too. Okay. Elder Hemlock Wraith Fighter. Problem is, Eldar have too different of a style to the Imperium. They have lots of like curved lines, and it wouldn't blend well with, I don't know, the rest, the more normal Tankhead style of more like human, not quite human, but like, I don't know, Imperial style of the other Tankheads I've got so far. But yeah, you can see why I've been having trouble planning out a jet head. Just the way the pieces work on here, they are a little not quite flat enough for my liking, so that's a bit better. Okay, so they fit in that way. I'd even want to double up and fit 2 magnets in the upper arm section if I can, just to match the kind of strength of a much larger magnet that's going to be in the I don't know, elbow section. Can this sit flush? Not quite. One of the setting file. Just gotta try and make it smooth. Okay, now I think I can get some glue in there. Ah, the Deathwatch plane. Yeah, wow. What is that, the Morning Star? No. What's that called? But yeah, you can see it's like not a lot of like Imperial proper jets that can be used. Imperium, just the Imperium. What's it called? The Corvus Black Star. Star was in the name. Yeah. But no, the where is it? One of the jet heads I had in mind of making. Where is it? It is an Alliance one. I think it's the Warhawk. Yes. Warhawk. Because that seems like a good enough, like, general upper body and leg shape that I could use an armature for. But it's just, where do I get wings from? And I could grab the turbines from a Valkyrie or one of the Space Marine gunships. But the whole wing section's like making that whole section out of plastic card might be pushing it. Plans. Okay, but for the current plan, glue in magnets in. Want to keep this glue, not mess it up too much. So I'm being careful and stopping it from clumping up too much in any place. So it's going in that way. Yeah, the orky stuff is only the only things that seem like they'd have jet parts that I could work with. It would be funny to like de-orc an orc thing, loot the orcs. Since you know, it's what they do with everyone else, so it's high time somebody does it to them. Yeah, fortunately, some of the TANKHEAD stuff, since it has historical basis, could just get an actual historical kit for that. But again, we'd need to check the scale at least. Okay. That looks to be glued in now. There's that. But before I can glue this part together, I need to figure out how the whole forearm part of it works. So, put the magnets to one side. Now, how do I want this forearm to work? Kits around the 132 and 135th, they're closer to 40k. Yeah, 40k is awkward because it's 28mm heroic, which means the average human is 28mm, but the heroic means different parts of the body are scaled differently. Like, heads and weapons are bigger. But good to know between 35 and 32 is a good closest historical scale. Okay. So this forearm, was a temporary connection in my mind. Well, planned temporary connection, so let's cut that. And then theoretically I could just glue that and and then work on the forearm separately. And the nice thing about magnets is, if I'd ever want to, I could equip the Steam Knight Lance onto the TANKHEAD. Should be a funny build. But yeah, let's see. Glue this together. Because the upper arm itself I don't think needs much work. Did want to try and find some armor piece to put there, because the upper arm on the... where is it? Yeah, the upper arm on the TANKHEAD does have some, I don't know, forearm armor, but it is weird and curved. Okay, let's glue that together. I can also glue in the, I don't know, the tricep pistons. Always cool knowing which, I don't know, what actual musculature machinery corresponds to. Also helps designing, well, not designing, also helps like kit bashing and building stuff too. Because when you look into detail something, it's like, okay, what goes here on the human body equivalent that I could add? So, oh, that's where the bicep is, so I could add some front arm muscular details, or I don't know. That's where the abdomen is, so I need some kind of all-around things for core muscles. So anatomy can help with mech building for the whole, what's it called, biomechanical influences. So it would go in like that. There. Yeah, there is the forearm armor, and this does kind of take some Gundam influences. Though honestly, some Gundam stuff is a bit more simple than this. They're like a singular rectangle for the forearm. Let's see. Just grabbing ones I have to hand, for example. I've got a custom police Jagan, because Izubuchi designed it, and Izubuchi is also the Patlabor guy, but yeah, you can see the forearm on these guys are relatively simple, although they are grunts, so, you know. And the forearm design on the TANKHEAD does have, it comes out larger when it gets to the upper forearm, and it has a cuff. I don't know, maybe if it... maybe it matches some different styles of Gundam designs, but I don't know, my first one for references is always either 1 Year War stuff or CCA, Charles Counterattack stuff. Like, the new pinnacle of Gundam designs in my eyes. Although the... if you're talking mobile suits in general, then that is actually quite similar to the... It is more similar to the Zaku, which I am more familiar with. As you can see here on the Zaku, it goes out more on the upper arm. You got to go... Just wanted to say... Yeah, thanks for coming in and saying hi. yeah, Zaku Forearm is kind of more similar, and it is even more complicated. Like GM's and Federation style design is relatively simpler, but you can see it has like out at the elbow joints has a more, I don't know, more curved upper arm going narrow towards the fist, and has this whole outside of it, outside of the arm ridge. Always a lot to be learned from the various styles of mech design. Yeah, have a good day yourself, David. Let's see. Just using some Tamiya extra thin cement here, because that's always the best for when like parts for like. It's always the best for normal Warhammer parts when they sit flat and they should be glued together. When I'm working with plasticard and stuff that doesn't line up as nicely, I tend to use the non-thin Tamiya cement just because it melts it more, so it will help with a sturdier connection when the parts aren't made to go together as well. Hey, no problem. It's always nice seeing how other people... It's always helpful seeing how other people approach kit bashes or just design in general. Like, when I'm confused about how to build a part, I will, you know, look in art books or see other mech designs or see how just other people have kit bash stuff in general to see how they approach a similar problem. Like, how do you detail this area of a mech, and how does that joint work, and you know, how is this part assembled? So looking at other stuff for reference is always helpful, so I'm glad I can be a point of reference too. Okay. And then we can start looking at the forearms. Currently, I just grabbed this, which is a gun barrel from a Doom Crawler, just because Doom Crawler parts are always... I don't know. They tend to be abundant. Just dab a bit more glue over there to melt it so I can file it back and sand it later for a smoother connection. Yeah. I've got a growing collection of mech design art books just because referencing is always insanely handy. I got the TANKHEAD book, I got Emerson Tung's other books. Oh yeah, if you are looking for mech design references, there's two books I always keep close to my desk if I ever need to look quickly, and that is the TANKHEAD book and the Titanfall 2 book, because I always just find them invaluable for mech references. Of course, it depends on what style you want your stuff to be and what styles you personally like, because obviously you want to be more influenced by the stuff you like. So what if you got favourite games or movies or anything, look if that's got an art book out, because they can always be a great help. And even kit bashing, even other kit bashers, because I have a very nice book from, it was a Kickstarter, the Art of series, and I picked up this one, the Art of Bjarni Dali. I hope I'm saying that name correctly. He is another, I think he's a Golden Demon winner. But it's like, it's got him talking over kit bashes and how he did it. He's currently got a exhibition well, not an exhibition. He's currently got a few of his models up at Warhammer World. So he's obviously he's a recognised kitbasher. I think this piece is actually one that's up at Warhammer World. Howling Griffin diorama. Yeah, that big thing. Ooh. Currently kitbashing an army of orcs based on Iron Harvest stuff. Iron Harvest always comes up a lot for mech references, and rightly so. It is a good one to look at, especially for, I don't know, not quite steampunk, but not quite diesel punk. It's, I don't know, alternate World War history. It's a cool style. But where was it? Forearms. Because normally this piece would, let's see, here's the equivalent. You can see here, and I grabbed the forearm from the Power Fist arm, and normally it would go straight into the Power Fist. And this is a bit of an irk I have with a lot of Warhammer designs, is that they don't like forearms. Often it'll just go straight into the fist. Maybe it's to do with the scaling, because with a fist as a weapon it's scaled bigger and it just kind of consumes the forearms, but it happens with Dreadnoughts, it happens with Catfrons. And it just, I don't know. They have one big fist, which doesn't help if you want something with an actual forearm. And so I have to make forearms a lot myself. And that's what I'm currently at now. Okay, so how long is this? Because I'm going to start shaping up some plasticard panels. It is 3.5 long, 1 tall, 1 centimeter tall. What does the angle look like on that? Okay, let's see what I've got. I got some scraps of plasticard here that I didn't end up not using from other builds, or from other armor pieces that I want to try and reuse. Yeah. Like this was an alternate back panel, which I ended up not going with, but don't want to let it go to waste. So let's see what I can salvage. Scythe is diesel. Okay, yeah, it is diesel punk. Because I also heard, I believe Tankhead is also diesel punk, but it can be quite different because Tankhead covers like pre-World War I to World War II style, and that's, I don't know, that's a large technological progression. And so if that's diesel punk, Iron Harvest seems more like specifically like World War I era. So I wasn't sure if it was diesel punk or something a tad more primitive. Yeah, Scythe is the, I don't know. That is a board game, isn't it? A board game where same style as Iron Harvest. Yeah, Scythe is the Iron Harvest board game. Okay, so that goes to 1 centimeter there. And that goes to up to 3.5, which is there, so that is cutting off the last half grid. Always grid my plasticard when I'm working with shapes, just because it helps so much with measuring. And I'm not sure the angle I want, because I don't want it just a straight rectangle, I want a bit of an angle on that side. So do need to get a steadier camera because this is always wobbling a bit too much. Okay, I'll measure it down to 2 centimeters and then adjust going down from there until I find an angle I am happy with. Oh yeah, Dishonored is also... Diesel Punk is almost getting too large of a term since there's so many different stuff in that style. Okay, yeah, if it's 3.5 long, that gives me some good leeway because I can have the centimetre at the bottom be the cuff and a centimetre at the top be the where it comes out of the upper forearm. Okay. So I could just have it purely rectangular and have the upper forearm parts on top of that. Oh yeah, if you are looking for more references for the kitbashing the org stuff from Iron Harvest, the artist behind that, Jakob something. I know his art book is Howling at the Moon, and there's probably Iron Harvest art books themselves too. So that would probably be a big help. Okay, now that comes out too much, so I'll move it down so it's 1.5 centimeters at the upper arm side. Okay, there we go. How will that look? Do need to flatten it a little so it glues. Heavy Gear probably has an art book. I mean, even if not Heavy Gear directly, then you can probably find the main designer behind, one of the main designers behind that style. Well, Heavy Gear is another thing I see a lot of, I don't know, designs in the style of. Oh, I know the style. I don't know, because Heavy Gear is Heavy Gear Battletech? No, it's not Battletech, but it's similar. Almost reminds me of Scope Dog's. Heavy Gear has 4. Well, there you go. There's some good old Mac references, an abundance of them. Oh yeah. Yeah, there is enough art references for Iron Harvest. But the thing is, art references help generally, but when kit bashing, you do often run into differences that you can't make too many compromises on. Like, you can never get it exactly like the art, and you'll only spend longer and longer trying to get closer and closer. So you gotta settle for a bit of a midpoint where this is as close I can get in a reasonable amount of time. And so long as like some of the defining features of the mech are represented, then that is often good enough. Heavy gears because EA couldn't get the rights to BattleTech. Oh. Interesting. So it's, I don't know, I wouldn't call it knockoff, but it is. We have BattleTech at home. Yes. Okay, that is slightly flattened. How wide is that? Ooh. That is that hour-long loop of song done. Time for the Archotechna playlist. All this music should be linked in the description if you want to check it out yourself, which I do recommend. I just listen to this in the background while I'm building anyway, and there's from some good artists. One compromise you had to make was the M22 Stark's chiseled jackhammer. Ooh, that is kind of specific, yeah. Yeah, sometimes you just can't find the parts you need in existing bits, and it takes so long to make stuff out of like raw materials for it, where it's you gotta make compromises you have to make. Okay, let's glue this on for now. I will probably be ungluing and chopping this off later. I think it was a tabletop wargame before EA made. Yeah, stuff has a weird history. Looking into it a lot. Loud. Okay, that's a bit better. From that, I need the equivalent on the other side. Pencil. Okay. That does look a bit larger. Might need to trim it down a tad. Yeah, my plan is to build this in a few different sections. Where just to have the main body here, then add a cuff section on top, and then add a upper arm section where that sticks out there. Just because that'll give it a bit more of an interesting shape and some depth, so it's not just a single rectangle. But you can see on the model it does have a very interesting shape. Oh, hey, we paint minis. Hard making the Horus Lancer. There are a lot of cool Lancer designs I've wanted to see, but Horus are particularly weird ones. They're all like the magic-y style. Well, not magic-y style, but like they have the extra. I don't know enough about to say, but it does have a lot of the extra magical weird abilities on them. You might be able to reuse a lot of Demon Engine style stuff. Oh, it's going pretty good. Just on the forearm of a tankhead. This is what it is so far. Just magnetizing it up and figuring out the plastic art for it. Depends on which specific Horus Lance, but yeah, Eldar could work. They might be. There's the very. I can't remember the name of the big Eldar ones, but they do have the skinnier style. Thinking about the forearm shape. What do I do with it there, about how it joins to the elbow? Because currently the outer elbow comes from the upper side on the tank parts, but it comes from the outer elbow comes from the upper side on the 40k parts, but it looks like there's some underlying stuff coming from the lower side on the tank head. Because there was something similar with my old tank head where I actually swapped the elbow parts around and had used the upper arm armature parts and put them into the lower arm and just kind of had to, I don't know, rebuilt it somewhat. Let's see. What can I get away with on this side? I need to start tracing out some patterns and see how they look. Okay, this is where the grid on the plasticard always helps. And sometimes can leave the stuff looking a little too angular and square and blocky, but sanding off the edges can help. So it's not too square. Let's see. When doing this, I always go through a few iterations before I get the right plasticard shapes. Like you can see for this thigh armor, this piece here specifically. Yeah, this piece here. This was the first iteration. You can see from there I was able to draw on where amendments needed to be made. Same for the lower leg. This was more matching the TANKHEAD style, but then once fitting it around I realised I needed it to be way wider. Yeah, always a few different armor panels. I ended up with a few spare at the end of it. I wonder if I can work them into some other build, like maybe a workshop scenery, workshop terrain piece, and just have like different armor panels on the wall. Okay, so that is where it normally comes in, but I wanted a bit more exposed on the upper section going up, so instead of being straight to 3.5, should be more like more like that shape, kind of half heart. You do not like the Tau Crisis suit feat. Do you have any suggestions? Do I have any suggestions with let's see, the Tau Crisis suit. I like some of the Tau stuff, but I know the Crisis suits, they're the default kind of squarey, blocky stuff. It's a tad too simple for what I normally like in mechs. And I know a lot of their mechs have very weird, I know they go very thin at the ankles. Yeah, they have this kind of multi-directional foot pad kind of things, like a lot of Warhammer designs do. Like they have like toe at the front, and then one's coming out in different directions. The Tau Commander specifically. Yeah, what I like to do with a lot of mine, because the armature feet are kind of similar, I like to replace them with a Dooncrawler foot pad, and I keep one of the toes and use it as a new back, and then I use a Dooncrawler foot pad, and then just build out front to have a more humanoid type foot where it's rectangular instead of going out in all these different directions. I did the same thing with this Tankhead's feet, because you can see at the bottom here it was supposed to be the same. Where is it? Yeah. Whereas there's two more supposed to come out at the sides here, and one at the back and one at the front. I cut off the ones at the sides and then just built out the front a bit more. I reused some of the toes to the new front bit and put some piston style things there. So yeah, I just cut off any toes, extra toe sections I don't like, and build out a new front. That could probably work with the Tau stuff too. Although you might need to reinforce the ankle with stuff, because I know Tau stuff does have very thin ankles. I've heard some horror stories of the giant Tau mechs breaking down and being snapped off there. Oh. Sorry. Okay, so. So to adjust the forearms, I want it coming in at a different angle upper side. Thank you, Craft. Where's my reference image again? This is a very unique forearm style. Working in a lot of interesting curves. Though the upper arm, the upper arm is a lot more exposed, so should it actually go down a whole centimetre or a bit more? Okay, that's looking a bit better. Just holding it up to the screen and placing it next to it to my eye. Then the more interesting shape can be laid out on top of that. Let me fill out the grid on this and then test out the upper forearm part. Okay. It doesn't actually go out that much at the back of the forearm. It goes out more at the inside of the forearm. So I'd actually just be able to kind of copy out the shape I already have. Keep some angularity to it. And get a slight dab of glue on there. So I don't want to keep it on there for now, but I will break it off later. Okay, maybe a bit more than that. Now what does the cuff section of it look like? What can I reuse? That actually looks to be a good fit, almost as is. see. That might not be too bad for a forearm. But that part of the elbow joint comes out too much. Got my plastic saw, time to cut that down. Bit of an awkward angle to cut at, but do what I can. Let's see. Preferred plasticard. 1mm is normally my go-to, if that's what you mean. If you're talking brand, then I'm honestly not sure. I get mine from my local game shop, which is an Element, and it's literally just comes unbranded. The only thing on it is a sticker with a price tag. So I couldn't tell you, the brand from there. Although for other pieces of plasticard, like the thinner stuff or different shapes or plastic rod, I get my stuff from Green Stuff World. So if by brand, it's like Green Stuff World probably, since I don't know the brand of the one that from my local shop. But if you mean width or thickness, then 1mm. Because you get thicker than 1mm and it starts becoming a bit of a pain to cut through, unless you have some fancy laser cutting tools or heat saws or whatever. And if you go thinner, it becomes it's not sturdy enough to build on structurally. And that cuff piece does not like staying on. I was thinking, oh, is this forearm piece too small? How does it shape up with the rest of the arm? It's got me stressing about proportions and all that. Let's get a 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter square and just use that as the wrist connection for now. It's a lot of prototyping and testing and making and remaking it a step. This hand is going to be too, I don't know, long by itself, just because this is from a Titanicus. It's not a Warhound. What Titanicus thing is it from? But either way, it's the same type of Warhammer fist problem I talked about before, where it's the hand and also the forearm. So I'm going to need to shorten this if I want it to be just the hand. Let's see. What is it from? Well, welcome, Kitbrick, if you just got here. Working on my TANKHEAD. Currently figuring out the forearm. And now that's all going to play together. And how does the hand sit? Because on the TANKHEAD, the hand is kind of small and also kind of short. Oh, thank you. Okay, so from that side it is half a centimetre down. So I will simply measure half a centimetre down. Just going to knife a short, well, not a short, but a shallow line. And use that as a guide for my saw. Got a little plastic saw for making some of the chunkier cuts. That's most of the way through, so I can finish it off with my hobby knife to avoid sawing into my desk. Okay, that's looking a bit more appropriate. Yeah, the style of the TANKHEAD hands are more like that of Gundam style, but I don't know, I have got these Titanicus parts spare and think they would be a good fit. But what Tau hand parts would be a good fit? Tau. Tau Empire Commander has some hands, but from what I see, a lot of the Tau suits fall into the same problem as a lot of the Warhammer stuff, where, well, they don't have hands except for power weapons, for power fists, because in most other cases they just don't have forearms or hands, they just end in a gun. Yeah, this is just the preliminary piece I got to test. If it doesn't work, I can try it with something else, and I was going to magnetize them just so it isn't a permanent thing, in case I do want to change it later. You can see the difference in size between, like, the regular Questoris hand, because it is the power weapon, so it's enlarged a bit. How do you make a tank more industrial? More industrial. First thoughts would be to, like, make it, I don't know, grimier, do some, like, streaking grime on it, maybe add some more exposed engine sections, add a few more, like, exhaust pipes coming out the side. Because if you're thinking of that kind of, I don't know, grimy, brownish, dirty industrial, then yeah. Even rust for the Minervan Tank Legion. Minervan Tank Legion. Because I'm not that familiar with a lot of guard stuff, so what is the Minervan Tank Legion? Tank Legion, covered regiments from Minerva, specialized armored vehicles, are in fact regarded as the model for other Imperial armored regiments to follow. They don't have a lot of reference stuff, but Pete the Wargamer did a great video on making a Krieg tank, Krieg Lemanrus I think it was, using bits from the new Solar Auxilia stuff. So that I recommend checking that out because that would be a good go-to. Yeah, they do seem obscure, but I love a good obscure pull. It really shows the scale of the setting where, yeah, this is a whole division. They're huge, they got their own stuff. They appear in one book, one time in the background. Yeah. But yeah, I would check out Pete the Wargamer's... let's try and find it. Can't be that difficult. Because he did stuff like sculpting extra sandbags to add on, as well as some other random stowage type stuff to make it look a bit more battered. Yeah, if they're the model for the Imperium, then the base kit would be of help. But I don't know. Tanks are a perfect big thing to customize. Okay, yeah. There's the Pete the Wargamer video on how he did his Death Corps Lehman Russ, which there's probably a lot of stuff you can learn from that, just because it just seemed like a relatively similar style. Although I'm no expert. Desert camo. Where'd my music go? There it is. Okay. I will probably need to like find some part to use as a wrist piece, just to kind of bridge the gap there. M60's night vision set up to make a night fighting tank. Yeah, there's no shortage of real world tank stuff to draw from for inspiration. So what size magnet can I fit in the hand? Big CRT mount on top of the gun. Always loved wacky experimental side stuff like that. The magnets are already out. Here they are. Okay, 3mm is probably one I can use here. Though I am... I don't know. don't have that many left. Might need to have another trip to Element Games soon. How do wrists work? Is the joint at the midpoint of the wrist, or is it further in or out? What does it look like on the tank head? Hands are angled in a bit. The TKS tank. What is the TKS tank? A Polish tankette. Oh, I like tankettes. I like nice and small and compact. Always wanted to try turning, like making the Cataphrons into a tankette squad. Yeah, I got some tank panels from the, what is it, tread guards? Yeah, track covers. Yeah. I don't know, there's the track covers on the top, which I used for these thigh armor there, but I wanted... Always nice when a kit comes with optional parts that people don't use, so you can find an abundance of them online. Like, that's why I always build a lot with Cataphren weapons, Cataphren armor panels, Onager, Doomcrawler foot pads, and Onager weapon options. Just because they're always abundant, so I've always been able to pick up a bunch secondhand for cheap-ish. So it's nice to know that there's a, you know, equivalent on the tank side too. Does the Imperial Guard even have any tankettes? I don't think so. It's like, what, the smallest tank is a Lehman Russ? That's not small enough to be a tankette. Ah, man, would like to make some tankettes, like I said, they're cool. How are these guys glued on? How are the hands glued onto my smaller tank? Oh yeah, heavy weapon squad would be a perfect tankette. Howdy, J-Dog. You clearly have not appeased your keyboard's machine spirit. Get random letters thrown in your typing. Or random numbers. Okay, and then that way. Put some stuff in. Also need to drill in the corresponding side. Going straight up to 3mm will probably damage the plastic, but this is all temporary stuff anyway, so I don't mind too much. There you go, you can see it's torn it up. I mean, probably didn't help that the still had wet glue and everything, but work quick in the prototyping stage. Okay, there's all that. So how's that arm looking now? Sigma has a lot of different interesting designs that you could try out if you wanted to get into it. Like, I know I've been tempted by the some of the Cities of Sigmar stuff. What's the size of this? One centimeter? That'd be nice and clean if it was. slightly over, maybe? Like talking to Sigma, I actually started out with Stormcast Eternals, just because I was looking for a Paladin mini for a D&D game. You'd kitbashing Sigma into a Roman or Greek themed army. Roman or Greek? If you're just going for like the human army style of, you know, Rome or Greece, then it would be like Cities of Sigmar, because those are your mass units. Could go for the hoplite style, get some like curved square shields for the Roman turtle formation stuff. You could probably also work that into Stormcasts, just because they're also just another humanoid warrior faction. Though for Roman and Greek armies, I don't know what their main weapon is spears, isn't it? Like, primarily they thrown in like the historical misconception of swords was swords weren't actually used that much. Going about acquiring the necessary bits for the conversion. There are plenty of historical games you could probably grab bits from instead. Just like other historical war games that could give you some real accurate Roman or Greek army parts. I don't do much historicals myself, so I wouldn't be able to say. But I know Duncan Rhodes did like painting a Roman soldier using this kit. So let's see where he grabbed his stuff from. Duncan Rhodes. Probably real old at this point. Yeah, shields and spears for the foot soldiers, swords for the highest ranks.
Hey everybody, in this video we're going to be showing you how to...
Okay, painting Roma. Victrex Limited is where he got his Roman soldier from. Okay, Victrix Limited looks like you can buy shields separately, but it is... no. 15 quid for 3, so not exactly cheap. You could look for a 3D printing service online, or just any local to you, because that can get you bits way cheaper than anything else. But yeah, cities of Roma, and just give them the more classic rectangular rounded shield and spears, and that would be a easy way, because if you're doing it for a whole army, you got to keep it simple for kind of mass conversion. What would be good? Imperial Roman minis. See, I can't. Sorry, but I can't be a huge help with historical stuff. Ooh. Turn a steam tank into a war engine. War elephant. And the guys with shields and cannon could be Roman shields. Yeah. Yeah, if you... Plasticard is, like, bendable. Get, like, 0.5mm thickness plasticard or thinner, because that's more flexible. And you can use hot, like, dunk it in hot water for a bit, leave it there for, I don't know, 30 seconds to a minute. Then take it out and bend it into shape. This is still 1mm. This is, I think, 0.1mm, so not really enough to build with, but you can see how flexible it gets at the thinner sizes. Okay, yeah, this is 0.5mm. And real flexible. But if you're looking for other stuff, like stuff other than foot soldiers, let's see, what does Age of Sigmar, Cities of Sigmar have? Order, Cities of Sigmar. Yeah, you can bend plasticard around a round object. Okay, it's just hit 2 hours. I need to go take a break, refill my water. So I will... I'll be back in a second. Okay, I got a fresh bottle of water. I'm back and ready to continue. Can you thin oil paints with water? No, I think you need specific oil thinner for that. I've never delved into oil paints myself. I know you can get some great staining effects with them, but it's not something I'm particularly knowledgeable on. I keep my painting relatively simple. Liquid mediums. I think you need to get some specific oil enamel thinner? Mineral spirits, maybe, yeah. Yes, the thin oil paint. The most basic way to thin oil paint using a solvent such as mineral spirits or turpentine. Ooh. Careful painting it raw. Aren't oil paints kind of thick, so, you know, thinning is kind of a necessity. Liquid. Oh. My mistake. Just misread it. But no, I'm no expert on oil paints, so you'll have to don't take much of what I say as gospel for oil paints, because that looks to be a bit smaller than 1 centimeter. Looks to be what, 7. How thin does the forearm look? They don't look particularly thin. Okay. I think you could fit Napoleonic stage signal. I don't know much about Sigmar game-wise, and I don't know much about Napoleonics either, so I couldn't say. Gun lines? Yeah, you can use any minutes for any game if you're brave enough, and, you know, the people you're playing with are chill enough about it too. Yeah, I'm the same. I like to use Games Workshop stuff as a base. I'm pretty sure Cities of Sigmar has gun units, so you could probably fit into a gun line. What are they, Fusiliers or something? Yeah, Free Guild Fusiliers. They're presumably a troop choice, so you can like just have loads of them, and they do have guns. So yeah, deadly gun line for cities of Sigmar, protected by tough shields. There you go. Good luck with your research. I need some more 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter squares. Because I think that's what I'll be using as the top and bottom bases. Because that's an alright... I mean, that's a first prototype, but I think I'm going to need a sturdier top and bottom base to start everything with. Ooh. You come to the conclusion that you can easily swap out the shield with plasticard and a tiny bit of green stuff to make Romans, which will need a head swap and a spear arm. Yeah. From Wargames Atlantic Spro. Sounds promising. Yeah, the head. Probably not going to be easy to source Roman heads. Well, you might not even need to use just plasticard. You might be able to get a plastic rod, because I have a few for just the sake of building with. That I got these from Green Stuff World in a pack of different sized stuff, and this is square rod. Good luck with your trekking gear. Yeah, might not even need a dowel to make spears. Maybe the spear heads, because that's a bit more specific. So that comes out to there. Doesn't have Roman heads. I wonder if there's anywhere, yeah, you would be able to get just the heads of an army. I think it's for normal humans, because he said cities of Sigmar. Well, cities of Romar. Ooh, yeah, Anvil Industries is a good one. They do not have Roman heads either. Well, if he's going Napoleonic, then the basic troop would be the gun line. But if he's going Roman, then the basic troop would be... what are they? Steel helms, or just whatever guys you can equip with shields and spears. Where'd the music go again? Yeah. Basic infantry with shield swap, spear swap, and head swap if you can find them. Yeah, Warhammer Lord of the Rings is still a thing. I was at Warhammer World yesterday and they were having a tournament for it. I think you can get some, reuse some of the stuff for that because they don't have Roman type stuff in Lord of the Rings. I think it's like Middle Earth, the strategy game, I think it's called. But I was unaware of any Roman type units. If you're looking for heads, probably have spears of some kind. Oh, yeah, they do have a war elephant. You didn't post a link, so I don't think that link works. YouTube doesn't like link post people who aren't like the channel themselves posting links. But if you say Warlord Games, that's a place to check out at least. Okay, the L-beams are not working. I need to some square plasticard rod. Okay, here's some. Oh yeah, 3 for £4 doesn't sound very repeatable over a whole army. Well, I don't know, it just depends how much you're willing to spend, I guess. If it's 3 for £4. I don't know, how large of an army are you going for? Yeah. Didn't expect the elephant would be particularly cheap. It is a big unit. Okay, maybe this with square rod is a bit of a sturdier base for building a forearm. Finicky work. Okay, need to glue them a bit and then leave them to dry. Mix this is getting a tad tough. What can I take a look at in the meantime while that's drying? Lumen Rust could be a steam tank, yeah, just... I don't know, put a few more steam vents on it, an outlet or two. No, if you only wanted a spearhead, that's the smallest army you could get away with. That's kit bashing and having your ideal custom army is never cheap. I make it work for me just because I don't play a lot of games, so I'm in no huge rush to get a whole army quick, so I can take my time making kit bashes like this one. How does his size, his forearm compared to his thigh? That is quite a bit of weird scaling on it. Oh, I could magnetize the other upper arm. That's something. Yeah, there's the inevitable draw of a 3D printer for kit bashing and customizing. Where is the extra thumb piece for that? I was thinking about orcs for Sigmar. Could have them as jokey Romans. Different rider for the Chaos Lord on Coca-Talk. Different rider. What is the Chaos Rider on? What do you say? Cocoa talk. You want to unchaos the cocoa talk? Well, it depends what armor you're putting into it. What armor you're putting it into. But unchaosing the... Oh! Karkadrak. Yeah. If you want to unchaos it, there's not much chaos marking on the beast itself, it's mostly on its armor. So you could just like sand or shave or trim off that and go from there, put some transfers of the whatever army. I don't have a plan for it. Alright. This new style of rider should, I don't know, determined by kind of army it should be. And if you just want a generic non-chaos, just a human rider? Not sure. Although, reposing somebody to be riding something is always real tricky. Because it involves a lot of like body posture adjustments. How far down does this one go? That's quite flat. I mean, there's always the well, maybe not a cop-out, but there's an easy alternative which doesn't really fit the rider look, but you could just have like standing on top with an arm out with like reins in his hand, because then you don't have to adjust for the annoying like wider-legged posture of riding on someone when you have them like standing on them instead. Like when I was making some Cerberus riders, the Admech cavalry unit, the most annoying part of that was dealing with the different seated posture, because have to, like, if you don't have a seated unit, you have to like adjust the legs and the hips and the ankles. So if you do want to replace it with something, try to make sure it is another like rider unit. Just so you can avoid doing as much work with all the posture changing. Oh, that's annoying. So the legs are part of the mount on the sprue. Yeah, that's... Oh, that is going to be tricky to work around. Could you... At that point it might be easier to just de-chaosify the rider too. Because if you don't have a specific army in mind, then it could just be, what, generic warrior? How easy would it be to de-chaosify that guy too? Need to head swap, maybe remove some of the trim. Thing on the forearm and the belt, but not impossible. Obviously remove all the horns and spikes and everything. Calves are just stuck down there, yeah. Let's see, what does the 360 view of it look like? No, the lower body itself doesn't have much chaos specific stuff. Maybe like the sword sheath? But it doesn't seem like it would be an impossible task to de-chaosify it. Should that fit? I need to go a bit shorter. The front floof on the armour is a different piece, same with the cape. That could help, yeah. Okay. Need to get my magnets back out. Those and one of these big strong ones. Okay, still need to be a tad wider. Is it just seems like it's one of those rather awkwardly built kits, like easy to build style, where easy to build, hard to convert. Yeah, that's, I don't know. Easy to build, they're good and cheap, but they often come with the starter box sets, so it's some of the best prices of the units, but hardest to convert with. I still have some Infernus Marines from the Leviathan box set I need to do something with, but they're the same style of hard to rebuild. I don't like how loud Chaos models are. Yeah, they are all in on the whole Chaos thing. Well, a lot of models modern stuff tends to cram as much detail as possible as they can into the models, which, I don't know. I appreciate the mecha stuff, but I have seen people who say, like, it's too much. You can always try like sanding off details and cutting stuff down yourself to end up with something you're happy with. Oh yeah, I get what you mean. It's tough matching plasticard to other armor panels because it's so densely detailed. I'm I don't know, not dreading it, but it will be a pain to rivet the plasticard panels to match the riveting of the other existing panels from the model. That is going to be a lot of finicky back and forth with tweezers and glue and ball bearings. Okay. Oh, Zimmermet. Yeah, well, it's funny you say that because Zimmermet. Zimmerit. That's the word for it. Because this is the TANKHEAD I've been going off of the style of, and there is the alternate Zimmerited version of it. Though honestly, I don't think Zimmerit would be too much work, because you just put a paste on it, and then you just like press in with some kind of like tool at the end, and it feels like it wouldn't be that much. Feels like it would be easier than riveting it, to be honest. It's just like apply some type of modelling paste over the surface and just press in the line with the tool going up and down. I remember first seeing Zimmerit on Gunpla style stuff, where the artist went all in on the World War II style. Oh. Okay, that is the magnet in the upper part. Now time to magnetize the lower part. Do you have the rivet maker tool? I don't think so. Is it that kind of circular saw looking thing? Because I can see how that would be good for making indents, but not the actual circular rivet bit that sticks out. So I can see how that might work for smaller scale stuff, where just the indent would work for the rivet, but not for the type of scale I do for this. Although, the method of riveting I currently do is drilling in holes and gluing in 1mm ball bearings, which works, but I think the rivets might be a bit too big. It's a punch and die set. I'm not familiar with that, but I will have to look into it because I'd be happy to find something that makes the riveting process easier. Okay. So that is the RP Tools Rivet Maker. I will be looking into that. RP Tools Rivet Maker. Ooh. No, that's new to me. But no, I will look more into that after the stream because, like I said, anything that makes rivet making easier, I will happily take a chance for. But okay, we've got the upper arms magnetized and some forearm armor prototyped. I think that is all I'm going to be able to do on stream today. I got some stuff I need to do after this, as well as I'm getting very hungry, so I need dinner soon. Let's see, this is how we've gotten on so far. I have grabbed some AK interactive stuff before. Where is it? Yeah. Got the stainless steel paint shaker balls here on my desk. But okay, that is a good chunk, well, the beginnings of the arm building started. Yeah, it's alright progress. It is a huge project, so can only take it a little at a time. As always, I'll be posting more frequent updates on Twitter and my Instagram stories if you want to see something a bit more day-to-day than the odd streams whenever I can schedule them in. And I may even make a video on this dude in the meantime, just because people have asked me about it and it's something to upload. And, you know, keep practicing videos and editing to stop me from getting too rusty between them. So yeah, thank you all for showing up, and I hope you all have a great day too. See you guys next time.